Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping into something really foundational, I think. It's about self-acceptance.
Yeah, it's a big one. And the source we're looking at today, it's actually a self-acceptance meditation script. So quite practical.
Exactly, practical. Which gives us a really interesting angle. Our mission here is to kind of unpack the insights from this script, especially around this core idea introduces unconditional self-acceptance.
That's the key phrase, isn't it? Unconditional. What does that actually mean?
Well, the script gets right into it. It's not just, accepting your good points. It's accepting yourself no matter what. Like even with weaknesses, flaws, mistakes.
Right. And the script we're using, it unpacks unconditional pretty thoroughly.
Mm.
It means accepting yourself regardless of, say, your skills or how well you communicate.
Or your income, your education level. Even if you feel like you're not meeting your own expectations, maybe you think you should be a better parent or a kinder person or, mentally stronger.
It even covers whether others approve of you or respect you or love you. That acceptance comes from within, regardless of the outside world.
Hmm. The source material also mentions Albert Ellis's definition, which frames it as like accepting yourself even if you don't act intelligently or competently all the time, or if others don't approve.
And what's really interesting is how it describes having high self-acceptance. It's not about feeling inferior because of weaknesses,
Okay.
but also, and this is crucial, not feeling superior because of your strengths or successes.
Ah, so it takes you out of that whole comparison game, that constant ranking of yourself against others, or even against some ideal version of yourself.
Exactly. It's just a healthier relationship with yourself. But, and the script is clear on this, it's not about just letting yourself off the hook.
Right, it's not ignoring things you want to change or improve.
No, it's acknowledging them, facing them even, but doing it from a place of, well, fundamental acceptance rather than self-attack.
Okay, so that's the ideal, this unconditional acceptance. What's the alternative? The script talks about that too, right?
It does. It contrasts it with what most of us, let's be honest, probably experience more often, conditional self-acceptance.
Conditional, that rings a bell. The idea that we feel worthy if.
Precisely. If we meet certain conditions, the material lists some common ones. Making enough money, having status, looking a certain way, being smart, having power, being strong. You know the drill.
Ah, that endless list. And the script points out the consequence of living like that.
It does. It says people often end up haunted by this fear, this feeling of never being quite enough.
Because your worth is always on the line, always dependent on the next achievement or meeting the next condition.
Exactly. It's fragile. Always needs proving.
Okay, so that really lays out the problem, the conditional trap most of us fall into. How does this meditation script suggest we move towards the unconditional kind?
Well, it presents this specific self-acceptance meditation as one really effective method. It's a tool.
And what's the goal of doing this meditation, according to the source? Is it like flip a switch and you're unconditionally accepting?
Probably not overnight. No. The purpose described is more about helping you get used to the feeling, the practice of accepting yourself. It's about reflecting on why you struggle with it sometimes
Okay.
and strengthening that motivation, that inner resolve to accept yourself more fully, kind of like building a muscle.
So it's a practice. And the process itself sounds fairly straightforward.
Yeah, pretty simple on the surface. You start by focusing on your breath, just to ground yourself in the present moment.
Mm.
Then you follow the guided reflection in the script.
All right, let's dig into those reflections. What are the key insights this meditation script walks you through? Where does it start?
It starts right here, right now. Present moment acceptance. The script guides you to accept yourself as you are in this very moment.
As you are now, not some future improved version.
Exactly. And it uses this really nice framing.
Mhm.
Treat yourself like you would treat a close friend. Acknowledge that, yeah, you're a person. You make mistakes. You learn. You grow.
Accepting weaknesses and strengths, but without that feeling of being superior or inferior because of them.
Right. Just seeing yourself.
Yeah.
Accepting yourself. Now, that initial breath focus helps bring you into that space.
Okay, that makes sense as a starting point, just landing in the present. But then you mentioned a really powerful image the script uses, the newborn baby.
Yeah. This is, I think, one of the most striking parts of the source material. It asks you to literally picture yourself as a newborn,
Okay, why?
to connect with this idea.
Yeah.
At that moment, just existing, you are inherently enough, completely worthy, unconditionally valuable, before you've done anything right or wrong.
Wow. is quite a thought.
It is.
Yeah.
And then the script really drives it home. It asks you to imagine someone leaning over that tiny baby and saying, you'll only be worthy if you achieve X, Y, and Z later.
That sounds absurd, cruel, even when you picture it like that.
Exactly. It highlights the sort of learned nature of conditional worth. The script wants you to really feel that contrast, to reconnect with that sense of just being enough right from the beginning.
But obviously something changes. We don't usually walk around feeling that inherent worth all the time.
No, we don't. And the script addresses that directly. It talks about how, as we grow up, we start learning conditional acceptance from others.
From how people react to us.
Yeah, we get positive feedback for studying, helping, being good, negative feedback for mistakes, failures, being different, maybe dressing differently.
And getting that positive feedback, that external acceptance, it feels good, right?
It feels great, like
yeah.
validation,
Yeah.
like proof we're okay. But, and this is a key line from the source, that feeling never lasts.
It's fleeting, temporary.
Right. So what happens? The script suggests we end up chasing that approval almost like a drug, just trying to get that next hit of feeling good enough.
That sounds exhausting.
It is exhausting. And the script actually prompts you here to reflect on your own life. What are your earliest memories of wanting acceptance? What did you think you had to do back then to feel enough? What did you chase as a teenager?
So it encourages you to trace those patterns back in your own experience, to see how those conditions got built in.
Exactly. And that leads naturally into the next step, identifying the specific conditions you use to judge yourself right now.
Okay, bringing it to the present. What are my personal rules for feeling worthy?
Yeah. What are your goalposts? How did you even become aware these were your conditions? And crucially, the script asks, how do you feel when you can't meet them? That really helps you see the mechanism in action.
That sounds like it could be uncomfortable, but necessary.
Definitely. And then from that awareness, the script introduces what feels like a really central healing technique. It's about offering unconditional love and acceptance to your younger self.
Going back again, but this time with a different intention.
Exactly. Imagining that younger you, maybe the one who felt scared or not good enough, and recognizing that child needed the acceptance you're now learning to cultivate.
What would you say to that child? Does the script give examples?
It does, yeah. Really powerful things like you are precious even if you haven't accomplished much yet, or your value isn't determined by your age, your health, how relaxed you are, how well you slept, or anything else.
Wow, those cut right through the usual conditions.
They really do. It continues with things like your worth can't be measured by any standard or condition, and everyone makes mistakes. That doesn't make you a bad person.
That's huge. Separating the action from the person's inherent value.
Yes, and reinforcing that your value is always there, alongside your capacity to learn and grow. It's not static, but the value is constant.
And there was another key point in those messages about others' judgment.
Right. You can't control how others judge you, but you can choose to accept yourself. And this one, look at yourself as you are, not who you think you should be.
So this dialogue with the younger self is like actively reprogramming those old conditional messages.
That's a good way to put it, reinforcing that inherent worth that got buried under all the conditions learned over the years.
Okay, so after connecting with the past, does it bring you back to the present again?
It does. It loops back to present moment acceptance, but hopefully now with a deeper understanding, maybe a bit more self-compassion. The instruction is basically to notice whatever you're feeling right now.
Pleasant or unpleasant?
Both. Whatever thoughts are there, whatever sensations are in your body, just acknowledge them, accept them, without the usual struggle to fix them or push them away.
So the message is kind of like, this is me right now, all of it, and that's okay. That's enough.
Precisely. Letting go of that effort, that striving to feel differently than you actually do in this moment.
And then to help carry this feeling forward, the script ends with some specific phrases. Affirmations.
Yeah, exactly. Affirmations, they act as anchors, reminders of the core intentions of this whole practice.
Can you share some of those key ones from the material?
Sure, they're quite correct. May I accept myself as I am right now. May I realize that being better than others is not what makes me strong.
That counters the comparison thing again.
Yeah. And the flip side. May I realize that being worse than others does not define my weaknesses. Then, may I accept my imperfections and remember that my imperfections do not define me.
That's another big one. Imperfections don't define me.
Right. And may I always feel that I am enough no matter what happens. May I recognize that just as I had value at birth, I have value now. bringing back that newborn idea.
Yeah. And the last one?
May I treat myself the way I would treat my best friend, bringing back that kindness element from the beginning.
Those are really powerful touchstones. They kind of summarize the whole journey the meditation takes you on.
They do. They capture those key shifts in perspective.
So pulling this all together, if you're listening to this deep dive, why focus on this particular meditation script? What's the takeaway here?
Well, I think it matters because, first, it helps you actually see how conditional acceptance works in your own life. You start recognizing those if-only thoughts, realizing they were probably learned somewhere along the way.
It gives you that awareness.
Right. But it doesn't stop there. The script offers tangible tools, these reflection points, the newborn image, talking to your younger self, and these affirmations. They're concrete practices you can actually use.
So it's not just theory, it's practical steps towards building that healthier, more unconditional relationship with yourself.
Exactly. It shows that self-acceptance, especially the unconditional kind, isn't just some passive state you either have or you don't. It's an active choice, a practice.
A way to consciously step away from needing that constant external thumbs up or trying to meet some impossible internal standard.
Yeah, we've sort of walked through the script's path, defining it, seeing the contrast with conditional worth, tapping into that inherent value from birth, understanding how we learned conditions, identifying our own conditions, connecting compassionately with our past self, and using those affirmations.
It really is a practical guide offered by the source material. It's an invitation to do that inner work.
And, the script leaves you with this really interesting final thought. It kind of flips the script on self-improvement.
How so?
Well, it suggests that maybe, instead of pouring all your energy into worrying about your value or constantly trying to change yourself to meet some standard,
Yeah. What if you didn't have to do that?
what if you just accepted your value as inherent?
Right. The source material asks, if you choose self-acceptance, if you operate from that place of being fundamentally enough right now, what else could you use all that freed up energy for? Maybe just learning things, exploring, growing in ways that feel authentic, connecting with people, actually enjoying life.
Yeah, that's a really provocative question to end on. If you weren't spending energy judging yourself, what else becomes possible?